Atypical's first season ended on a tense note, with Doug finding out about Elsa's affair. Inevitably, the second season brought about a lot of challenges for the Gardner family, including Sam's struggle to find an alternative to his ex-therapist Julia, and Casey struggling to fit in at her new school, Clayton Prep. In today's video, I'm going to list all 10 episodes in order from my least favorite to most favorite. If I haven't already made this clear, this is only my opinion of worst to best episodes. If yours is different, that's totally fine. In fact, I'd like to read them in the comments. Also, there will be many spoilers throughout this video, so don't watch it unless you've already seen all of season 2 and more, or for some reason you just don't mind having it spoiled for you. Speaking of spoilers, if you think you might want to check out more of what I have to offer here at the Online School of Pop Culture and decide to go ahead and click the subscribe button and bell icon, it will be worth it. In 10th place out of 10 is the smudging. In this episode, the faculty advisor of Sam's peer group, Miss Whitaker, instructs him to begin applying for colleges. In the meantime, an incident that took place between Casey and her friend Izzy's boyfriend Nate in the previous episode causes tension between the two. Also, Doug and Elsa work together to start a training program for first responders about autism. This episode was my least favorite in this season because of the slow pace and lack of progression in the plot beyond the halt in Casey and Izzy's friendship. In second to last place is season 2's 8th episode, Living at an Angle. This episode, in my opinion, was a little better than the smudging, but not much. Sam just decided that he wants to go to art school and is pursuing the Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD. He's given an interview, but a large portion of this episode is spent looking for Sam's art portfolio upon realizing it's gone missing. This itself is spent with Casey accusing Sam of losing the portfolio on purpose due to fears and concerns he's recently expressed about going to college. The mystery is solved when Amber from Sam's peer group brings the portfolio to the Gardner house. As it turns out, Amber had stolen the portfolio as a way to prevent Sam from going to art school because of what Sam had shared at their group session about some of the adversities art students often face. After all this build-up, Sam completely chickens out of the interview. But then Miss Whitaker suggests Sam go to art school a little closer to home, specifically Denton University. In 8th place is the season's second to last episode, Ritualicious. This episode takes place on Casey's 16th birthday, on which Sam insists on following a list of rituals designed by his parents many years ago, and Elsa insists on throwing Casey a big party despite her having asked for a smaller celebration. The only truly plot-advancing event is Sam receiving a letter from Denton University, though we do see some reconciliation between Casey and Izzy following the incident in the smudging at the party. One thing I did like about this episode is that it touched on Sam's relationship with rituals as an autistic, and the birthday ritual as a way in which Sam and Casey's parents have tried to aid in their relationship with each other. The part of this episode I disliked most was when Casey yelled at Sam for making the ritual about himself when he was mostly just trying to be nice to Casey. Though I can see where Casey's coming from, with Elsa not quite following Casey's wishes, and how Elsa did have some degree of ulterior motive in throwing the party. In 7th place is the season premiere, Juiced. This episode picks up where season 1 left off with the cliffhanger of Doug just having learned of Elsa's affair with Nick. It starts at 4 p.m. on a Monday, which used to be Sam's scheduled appointment time with Julia. But due to the incident between them in the season 1 finale, Sam is no longer allowed to see her. So he is now on the hunt for a new therapist, but can't find a candidate that suits him. Doug is staying with his father, and Elsa is at the house with Sam and Casey, who is extremely nervous about her upcoming first day at Clayton Prep. Sam and Casey's issues eventually escalate to Casey letting Elsa's affair slip to Sam and the two having a physical altercation. The episode ends with Doug coming back to the Gardner house and kicking Elsa out, which leaves her to stay with Louisa from her autism parents group and cat-sitting member Kathy's cat, Monkey. This episode is really good about picking up on the cliffhanger from last time and portraying its effects on the family realistically. However, I personally had a bit of a hard time watching it due to its melancholy undertones and questions left unanswered. In 6th place is episode 3, Little Dude and the Lion. This episode marks a turning point in both season 2 and the show in general when Sam makes the decision to start attending a support group for Newton students on the autism spectrum. He ultimately comes to this decision after an incident in which he elopes from school and his father has to pick him up. It's after his first group meeting that Sam makes the decision to go away to college instead of commuting to a community college from home. The title centers around a cartoon character Sam created for his journal drawings and an elopement story Sam had been told about a little boy with autism who'd been eaten by a lion. Meanwhile, Casey and a teammate named Izzy end up in detention together and learn that they actually have quite a bit in common. But this quickly takes a dark turn when Izzy breaks a bottle of vodka out of another teammate's locker and Casey gets drunk on it. I like this episode because of how it progresses the story and the many tensions it raises throughout the rest of the season. At the halfway mark is our season's 2nd episode, Penguin Cam and Chill. With Elsa spending time away from Sam for the first time while at Louisa's, Casey gets a rough start at Clayton, and Sam has a rough time navigating the casual relationship Paige has asked to start. We can all kind of relate to Doug with Elsa incessantly trying to get back into his life and the kids. At first, we can appreciate the relatability, but eventually it starts to get annoying. I personally like this episode because of how it puts the audience directly in Sam's shoes with his confusion about how casual relationships work and which rules apply and when. Now we're moving into the higher tiers with episode number 4, Pants on Fire, taking 4th place. If you've made it this far, comment Pinocchio. I appreciate Pants on Fire for how it showcases Sam, who can only ever tell the truth by virtue of his autism, attempting to make false statements. He does this via a technique Zahid teaches him, which is the episode's namesake. P stands for praise, O stands for obviously, and F stands for flee the scene. The whole reason Sam wants to learn to lie is that he needs to highlight an accomplishment from his life for his college essay, and he feels he has none. In the subplot, Casey avoids her boyfriend Evan after having embarrassed herself while drunk in the previous episode. It's while he's attempting to cheer Casey up that we learn that Evan acted in a commercial for a karate dojo when he was a kid. The episode ends on the intense cliffhanger of Doug falling down in the driveway during a panic attack. The bronze medal goes to The Egg is Pipping. As someone who's autistic herself, I love this episode for my ability to relate to Sam's experience of learning to manage money for the first time. He asks to open a bank account after hearing about this in peer group, and his parents allow it. Sam takes very seriously the budget chart the bank gives him, but this proves to be a bit of a mistake when he gives the money he set aside for charitable donations to Arlo's booze fund for his upcoming house party. Sam lets word of the party slip to his mother, not knowing the true intention behind it. Sam learns the truth after Arlo breaks his phone and pushes him down. Sam's interest in Antarctica is once again cleverly woven into the plot, with the egg he's been watching on Penguin Cam about to hatch, Arlo promising to make his house party a watch party, and Sam's phone being broken right as the egg is pipping per the episode's title. The silver medal goes to the season finale. In our very exciting season finale, It's finally time for Sam's high school graduation. In the days leading up to it, Doug tries and fails to keep secret from Elsa that he punched Nick. Romantic feelings for Izzy spark in the days after she and Casey have mended their friendship. Paige realizes Bailey Bennett is the culprit behind the smudging of her senior gift, and Sam has some mean things written about him in his yearbook. As valedictorian, Paige is supposed to give the big speech, but can't because she lost her voice ranting loudly in the hallway about the mean names the people who wrote in Sam's yearbook called him. So in a shocking move, Sam gives the speech for her. I love this episode because it's a huge milestone for Sam and sparks many of the exciting plot lines to come in Season 3, including Sam and Paige getting back together. And finally, the gold medal, which goes to Episode 6, In the Dragon's Lair. There are 3 reasons this episode comes out on top in my book. The first is that it deals with the prevalent issue of police officers mishandling autism. The second is that Zahid is such a good, supportive friend to Sam while he spends his first night away from home and takes a major step by finally applying for nursing school at the end. The third is that Doug and Elsa confront their old friends, Arlo's parents, not only for how Arlo took advantage of Sam, but for how Arlo's parents alienated the Gardners because of Sam's autism-related tendencies. Do you agree with my list? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments. I made a video kind of like this on my old channel about the Season 1 episodes. Here's a link to it. That channel's now about politics, society, and culture. Also on your screen is a link to a third channel of mine all about the diversity of religion and spirituality. If you like my visuals and narration in this video, subscribe to my other channels as well as this one.